In a Texas county that's part of the measles outbreak has multiple cases, including children too young to be fully vaccinated. West Texas is in the middle of a still growing measles outbreak with 505 cases as of Tuesday. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 320 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Let me talk about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too with their 3-week quick start kit for only $19.95, less than $1 a day. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
Healthcare is complicated. It doesn't have to be. If you don't love how your health insurance works, maybe it's time to leave traditional health insurance behind. Take charge of your healthcare with Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM offers you flexibility. Enroll anytime, choose your own provider, and select the program that fits your needs and budget. CHM is the original faith-based way of taking care of your medical bill costs. Learn more at chministries.org/wellness.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
Stocks dropped after a second day of stunning reversals. The S&P 500 fell 1.6% after wiping out an early gain of 4.1%, which had it on track for its best day in years. That brought the index nearly 19% below its record set in February. The Dow dropped after giving up an earlier surge of 1,460 points, while the Nasdaq Composite lost 2.1%. Uncertainty is still high about what President Trump will do with his trade war. The latest set of tariffs are scheduled to kick in after midnight tonight. The Dow was down 320 points to finish at 37,645. The Nasdaq lost 335 to 15,267. The S&P 500 dropped 79 points to 4982. With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and chilly this evening with the low temperature dipping down to 42. Tomorrow is another glorious spring day. Sunshine-filled skies, the high is 67. For Thursday, it's a blend of sunshine and clouds to go with 75 as our high. We do get a 40% chance of some showers on Friday. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All righty, welcome into Sports Talk Media Network across the state of South Carolina, your best 2 hours of the day. I don't care what you've done to this point. It cannot be better than the next 2 hours with Sports Talk. Your friends and family of Sports Talk, here to serve your sporting needs. We're not here to talk politics. We're not here to talk Wall Street. We're not here to talk politics. All right, say that once. We are here to talk sports and whatever it is in the world of sports that you want to kick around, primarily with a focus here on the great state of South Carolina, where we had today's the kind of day why people come to South Carolina and don't leave. Absolutely gorgeous. I see the gator on your shirt, Plumber. All right, congratulations to Florida. You lucked one out last night in beating Houston. Houston came apart like a cheap shoe. But it was a heck of a game, Chris. It was tense. It was tight. Little bit of a lead here, a little bit of a lead there. Give the Gators credit. For a while there, it looked like they were going to get not blown out, but it looked like they were going to have to deal with a double-digit deficit going into the latter part of the ball game. But they fought back and called up, made some great individual plays. And then offensively, Houston, man, they lost it down the stretch and just could not execute.
Florida did what Florida had done throughout the tournament, what they did in the regular season. Think back to their win in Columbia earlier this year. They were down the entire game, found a way to win at the end. They're just battle-tested. And with that backcourt and then the bigs, and I tell you what, Phil, that first half, it may not have been offensively aesthetically pleasing, but it was as athletic a first half of basketball as I can remember. There were some tremendous plays on both sides of the coin, and then it comes down to which team is going to make the plays down the stretch. In Florida, probably the best team. Clearly now, we now know the best team in the country took apart the best defense in the country. And I thought Houston really on the final possession, and Kelvin Sampson went nuts about it at the end after the ball game last night. But I don't think right at the very end when Emmanuel Sharp jumped up in the air and Walter Clayton Jr. ran at him on a great contest and he dropped the basketball and couldn't do anything with it. I think where Houston messed up that entire sequence, they waited way too long to start that offensive sequence. They got the ball back after the 2 free throws by Florida that put them in front. They got the ball with 20 seconds left to go. They really didn't generate any offense until about 9 seconds left to play in the ball game. And if you're Houston, the one thing they have done better than anybody else in the country was offensive rebounding. Get to the glass, put it up on the board, expect to miss, but you would anticipate that Houston will find a way to collect the offensive rebound, score, maybe send it into overtime. But it looked like watching that final play that Kelvin Sampson had designs on trying to win it right there, and I think that was a mistake, and obviously it cost him a shot at a national championship.
Yeah, I agree with you. Attack the rim.
Mm-hmm.
Why settle? Attack the rim. You had time to run offense and attack the rim. That's what I would have done, but they didn't. So that's 3 natties for the Florida Gators. That's pretty impressive for a team that's not really known. I guess they're a men's basketball school. They're certainly not a football school. What else? They're not a baseball school.
Not
what else?
This year.
What else does Florida do well? You know, they have the Gator Nationals drag racing. What else? That's about it, I guess.
I think their swimming and diving teams are pretty good normally.
Probably softball.
But you would.
Oh, they're good in volleyball.
Softball's really good.
Florida's good. They're good in volleyball, Plummer. So, yeah, king of the hill in basketball. We can finally put basketball to bed as far as the games are concerned. But the off the court stuff now starts to heat up with the Portal John window still open for basketball, and it was a busy day for the South Carolina women, as the Gamecocks learned that Raven Johnson is going to return for another season. Now, on the surface, I mean, that looks like a good deal. She has not been a prolific scorer for South Carolina in her 4 years. She missed her first year, of course, with a knee injury, second game of the season. But for her career, she only averages 6 points and 4 rebounds a game. She's only a 39% field goal shooter and 30% from 3, and only 64% from the line. So, I mean, I know that there's things that she does well. I think defensively she's a good defensive player, but she's
a leader.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like, again, I know it's not like she's a franchise player. Okay, she's probably a good role player. She's not a franchise player, so. I mean, this news is good for South Carolina in that you're bringing back a veteran leader, and maybe she'll pick up her scoring. But the other big news for the South Carolina women today is the announcement by 5'8" guard Tanaya Latson from Florida State that she's going to transfer to South Carolina. She and Johnson are apparently friends and teammates at some level. They're not from the same town. Latson is from Miami, and Johnson's from Atlanta. But
they played on the same high school team in Atlanta.
Okay,
somehow.
Is that the connection?
Yeah, Westlake High School.
Okay.
They were teammates there.
There you go. So she was the nation's leading scorer this season, and she is a scorer. She averaged at Florida State never under 21 points per game. For 3 seasons, her average was 22.5 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists, 45% from the floor, 33% from 3, and 84% from the line. So she is a scorer deluxe, probably along the lines in terms of the size and the scoring mentality, probably along the lines of Pow Pow, who South Carolina got from Oregon when she transferred, kind of along those same lines, I would guess. This season, she averaged over 26 points per game to lead the nation in scoring. So there's that. And then one other note on the South Carolina women is that Sakima Walker is transferring out, 6'5" center who didn't play a whole lot this year after transferring from a junior college after spending 2 years at Rutgers. So she's going to hit the portal, John, and flush her way out of the USC women's basketball program. Okay. Smooth. For the women, it's more of a smooth flush. Smoother. Yeah, that's appropriate. So that's the top of the news there for the South Carolina women's basketball team here today. So pretty active for them. Now, we've got Shane Beamer coming up tonight on the program. He met with the media today, as he does on Tuesday in the spring. I like the way South Carolina does their stuff. They bring in assistant coaches on Monday, the head coach on Tuesday, players on Wednesday. You can't complain about the access that they give you. You can't complain
and it's
about
just like
the
in
access.
the fall.
Yeah. You got plenty of access. And Shane had one of those moments today, and
he yelled at you
you'll
guys.
hear it. Well, he says he didn't yell, but he was upset over some reporting. Not in this case, because we didn't report anything. But there had been some reporting out there regarding depth charts for South Carolina from the open period that reporters got to enjoy last week. They may not be enjoying that much longer. Supposed to have an open window on Thursday, the last one of the spring, I think. But anyway, there were people writing about how players were lining up, like a depth chart. Left tackle, right tackle, guard, center. And Beamer was not happy about that because his position on spring is everything is open. The only job that's not open is starting quarterback. Everything else is wide open, and he doesn't want players looking at something on a website on the internet and seeing that they're listed as a third team this or a fourth team that or a second team or even a first team. He doesn't want the players to have that mentality going on in the spring. His belief is open competition at every position except quarterback. Now, there's competition for the backup job. But Shane Beamer, one thing about him, if you didn't know this already, you'll know it by listening to this. He keeps an eye on what's being written about his program, written and said. He keeps a watch out on that. And if something bothers him, he goes public with it. He doesn't call you behind closed doors. He puts it out for all to see and hear. And so during his opening remarks, he goes off on about a 3 or 4 minute tangent on this thing. We'll play it for you in its total, so stay tuned. You'll hear that coming up. I always chuckle when I hear coaches get upset at the media about certain things. And, I don't mind coaches. Me personally, I don't mind coaches getting upset. They get upset with something you say or you write or report. That is their right. I personally would prefer a face-to-face conversation.
Yeah, I agree.
Versus a group deal. If I wrote something or said something that was erroneous, it's one thing about making an error. Everybody makes an error. By God, coaches make errors, and we call them out on it, right? It's part of the deal. We call them out. We make an error in the media. By God, I think coaches have every right to call you out and say that's wrong. You got that wrong. And tell you why you got it wrong. Here's why it's wrong. So, believe me, I've had my share of those conversations over the years and don't mind the give and take with the coaches at all. But I do find I love it. I kind of love it when they lose their cool a little bit. And he was a little hot and bothered over this. And I've seen it, with other coaches. I've seen it with Muschamp, Sweeney, Danny Ford, Tommy Bowden, Tommy West, on down the line. It's just it's part of their DNA, I guess, in the dealings with the media. And this is not just a recent occurrence. This goes back, of course, for centuries with coaches dealing with whatever form of media they have to deal with. But now it's even more intense than ever before because, let's face it, whether it's talk radio like us or television, what's left of newspapers, or websites or podcasters. They're coming at you from every different angle. if you're a coach. You just got people coming at you from every different angle. So we'll have that for you tonight. You'll get an update on what he has to say. Nothing from an injury standpoint, nothing new. Those who've been out are still out, and no definitive word yet on Faison and his approval for this year, but I think he feels like that's going to happen. Just have not gotten the definitive word on that from him. Also, we'll hear from Tim Beck, the Coastal Carolina coach, from the wrap-up of their spring practice. We'll have that for you tonight. A little bit from Clemson as well, and Josh Harris from Darlington, and, of course, we got the Masters cranking up this week, and we'll hear from one of the golfers as we look ahead to start of play on Thursday morning.
I was going to say the other side of this coin. First off, it's poor reporting, and I'm glad we're not in that mix. I'm glad we weren't the ones who put out the depth chart. But if you've got an idea, I don't think it's all that difficult because, as you mentioned, the amount of access that USC allows us in the media, go to Coach Beamer and say, look, I saw X, Y, and Z in front of Lenoir Sellers. Does that mean those three guys are your starters at wide receiver, running back, and center, whatever the case may be? Don't just put it out there because you saw that. You have no idea. None of us, even watching practice, it's hard to discern, all right, are they just mixing up these groups so they can get a look at these guys and figure out, all right, are they first teamers, second teamers, or third teamers? Well, the only way we're going to know if a guy we believe is a third teamer is actually better than that, we need to put him in there with the twos or put him in there with the ones. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be a starter there. And on your point about taking it behind closed doors, I think the reason most coaches, and certainly Coach Beamer, no exception to the rule, I think part of it is they want to speak publicly about that, Phil, because they know their players will hear it.
Good point. And never hurts to, Dabo Swinney's the king at rallying the fan base behind him against the media.
Exactly.
He's the absolute king of doing that. Nothing wrong. Anytime you take on the media as a coach, you're going to win, and the media is going to lose. That's just the way it is. But that's okay. You have to learn to accept it and understand what your position is. The guys and girls, the guys and gals, I have not been out for a practice because I've been on the road every week since spring practice began. I mean, we were in Nashville. We were in Providence. We were in Birmingham. And then we were in Tampa, right? Yeah, we've been somewhere every week covering basketball. So I haven't been to one of those practices. The people who go out there, and personally, for me, I get nothing out of it. Now, I know the website folks, the insiders, they're so keen on looking at the who's out there and who's not, because to their readers, that's if somebody, and it is news, if somebody's hurt or missing from the team, that's news worth reporting if you can get it confirmed. But by and large, they've cut it down to 3 periods. It used to be 6 periods that were open. Now they've only cut it down to 3 periods, which basically is some stretching, some calisthenics, maybe some running. You might see a little bit of passing going on out there, but you're not seeing anything serious. And to be able to deduce a depth chart from that, you're wishing for something. You're looking for something that really doesn't exist, especially since the head coach has said repeatedly he doesn't have a depth chart for his team in the spring. So now you can, maybe you would have been better. I don't know how they put it. If one guy, if you write it and say, look, this is my opinion on what I think might be the depth chart from what I've observed. You got to put a lot of ifs and buts in there to kind of protect yourself. But to write and say, like, this is the absolute way the depth chart's looking in the spring, that's probably what ticked him off. I guess somebody somewhere out there put something like that on the internet, and he saw that and reacted to it. So you'll have to hear it coming up a little bit later on. We'll get to it here after the bottom of the hour break and let you hear what he had to say. Plus, of course, the most important stuff is about what he had to say about his football team, and what's going on at the backup position at quarterback, what's going on at tight end, what are some of the things happening at defensive tackle. He said, defensive end, he likes the talent that he has, but there's some concern there because just lost Wendell Gregory to transfer, and Jalen Brown is out with an injury. So was it Jared Brown? Jalen Brown. Jalen or Jared? Jalen transfer? Jalen Brown.
Jared's the wide receiver transfer from Coastal, but he transferred in.
Yeah, this would be
past season.
Jalen Brown, I think, who transferred in. They're trying to figure things out there at the edge position. That's one of the focuses here the last couple of weeks of spring ball is trying to figure out. It's Jalen Brown trying to figure out who they got to play there behind Dylan Stewart and Brian Thomas on the two edge positions. So you'll hear that coming up, plus the other stuff. Your phone calls 888-898-2525. That is the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number for you here on Sports Talk. And our text line number, our text message line, brought to you by Larry Lucas Insurance. Send us your text message as well. We got a bunch to read, and we'll get to them. And the text line number is 803-900-4847, 803-900-4847. USC baseball tonight, coming up at 6:30 against Upstate. We'll keep an eye on that. Back in a moment.
I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Whether it's becoming a teacher, dentist, or engineer, every child deserves the chance to chase their dreams. Investing in a child's education with Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 College Savings Plan, can help turn those big dreams into next steps. So don't wait. You can start with any amount. Contributions are tax deductible and earnings grow tax-free. Discover the smart, easy way to save for college at futurescholar.com.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
Now through May 31st, 2025, buy the house now, reset your rate later with Mortgage Reset from Founders Federal Credit Union. Open a new mortgage or refinance an existing mortgage and get the lowest rate you qualify for now. Set up direct deposit and then you can reset your rate once for free at any time rates drop. That's right. At any time during the life of the loan, you can reset your rate to the lowest rate you qualify for at that time at no additional cost. It's that easy. Visit foundersfcu.com/mortgage to learn more. Find your local mortgage loan officer or to start your application. You can always start your application and save your progress to complete later. Not a member with Founders yet? Don't wait. Visit us online or stop by an office to see if you qualify for membership. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required. Equal housing lender. Institution NMLS. Identifier number 410646.
Hey, it could be a good baseball game tonight over at Founders Park in Columbia. Ray Tanner Field. You got number 39 in the RPI, South Carolina, against number 80, Upstate. So you know Upstate's going to be coming in, looking to do some damage. Have a new poll question now. Our new poll question of the week, since our one yesterday was just a brief one related to the championship game of the NCAA tournament. So who is your pick to win the Masters? Is it Jordan, Rory, Scotty, or the field? Jordan, Rory, Scotty, or the field? Your pick to win the Masters. You can answer the poll question of the week brought to you by Larry Lucas Insurance. Call Larry at 803-799-1998. 803-799-1998. Let him answer all your questions about insurance. Who's your pick to win the Masters? Jordan, Rory,
Michael Jordan,
Scotty, or the field? I decided just to do the first names. That's how we are in golf. Those of us who are high-level golfers.
Michael Jordan has a better shot of winning the Masters this year than Jordan Spieth does.
Actually, I saw a little breakdown of the field, ranking the Masters field. This was by CBS Sports, and they had Jordan Spieth ranked number. I thought they had him in the. They had him number 13. They had number 13. I put him in there because he's just. Who else can you say Jordan? I could have said Bryson, or I could have said Xander. Could have said John with an O-N, John, or Colin.
Mm-hmm.
I could have put Colin in there, but I just felt like going with those. Or field. You can pick the field. Anybody else besides those three. So you got a chance to vote there on our X account, SC Sports Now on X, or our website, SportsTalkSC.com. Quick note here, Final Four, 15.3 million viewers on CBS, most watched since 2017. The tournament viewership across all their outlets averaged 9.9 million. That's up 2%. Houston Duke, the most watched game of the tournament, 16 million viewers on average. So that's for the men. I haven't seen any numbers yet for the women. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. I'll have to do a quick check. All right, to the phones, 888-898-2525. And Hank, we're short, but we can carry you over if we need to. Hank in Columbia, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Corn. It was 8.9 million for the women, which was like the third most watched,
yeah, but that's significantly. Isn't that significant? Isn't that significantly down compared to last year?
Actually, it's, last year you had the Caitlin Clark effect, so you had folk who watched it just to watch Caitlin more, but not really women's basketball fans. It's up 4.5 million from where it had been before the women's basketball started exploding with all the games. So 8.9 million. Last year was like 18 million. But
18.9 million last year. You mean to tell me that 9 million more people tuned in just to watch Caitlin Clark?
Yeah. She's a lot of folks got fascinated with it. So you get your regular fans, and then you got those folks who are just Clark fans just wanting to see her. So that's how that number rose up.
Yeah. All right, hang on. We gotta hit the break. If you'll hang on, we'll come back to you. I know you got more to say, and then we'll take more calls, and we'll hear from Shane Beamer. That phone number, 888-898-2525. We'll be back in just a moment.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and chilly this evening with the low temperature dipping down to 42. Tomorrow is another glorious spring day. Sunshine-filled skies, the high is 67. For Thursday, it's a blend of sunshine and clouds to go with 75 as our high. We do get a 40% chance of some showers on Friday. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
The Point.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump has signed 4 executive orders aimed at boosting coal, a reliable energy source that's long been in decline. Under the orders, Trump will use his emergency authority to allow some older coal-fired power plants set for retirement to keep producing electricity to meet rising U.S. power demand amid growth in data centers, artificial intelligence, and electric cars. U.S. stocks dove following another stunning reversal. The S&P 500 dropped 1.6% Tuesday after wiping out an earlier gain of 4.1%, which had it on track for its best day in years. That brought the index nearly 19% below its record set in February. The Dow was down by 320 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Nobody plans for a plumbing problem. They come unannounced and usually at a very inconvenient time. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is your trusted ally. They recognize just how vulnerable a customer is at this time, and they want to help. They have well-trained plumbers who are there to make a difference when you need it most. I've experienced this. They're knowledgeable about their craft. They're not coming to your house to pitch new products. If something is broken, they'll give you a price to fix it if it's possible, or a price to replace it if necessary. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is also locally owned and operated, or I simply wouldn't endorse them. Josh and his team prioritize customer service above everything else. They handle every issue with care and precision. Those are not just words. I've had Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning out to my home. They back up those words with their actions. If you have a crisis, get some peace of mind. Online, you find them at franklinplumbing.sc.com, or you call 799-2222. That's 799-2222. I'm absolutely positive they will make whatever is wrong right again. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning.
If you step on to H&J Cattle's farm, you'll find third-generation farmers upholding the legacy. They embrace sustainability and take immense pride in their craft, raising cattle purely on nature's offerings, without growth hormones, antibiotics, or animal byproducts. The result? Unmatched quality beef that's not just good, it's the best in South Carolina. Experience the distinct flavor of our finest registered Hereford and Wagyu beef. Visit us online at hdjcattle.com or on Instagram and Facebook at H&J Cattle.
Hi, I'm Dondi Mercer-Plank. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just starting, let me introduce you to Grow Your Garden with Sal, your go-to spot for everything you need this season. As a South Carolina certified farm, they offer locally grown vegetable seedlings, plants, and seeds to help your garden thrive. And don't worry if you don't have a green thumb, Sal and her team will teach you how to grow with confidence. Shop online at growyourgardenwithsal.com or stop by 113 Hilltop Drive in Columbia.
Now through May 31st, 2025, buy the house now, reset your rate later with Mortgage Reset from Founders Federal Credit Union. Open a new mortgage or refinance an existing mortgage and get the lowest rate you qualify for now. Set up direct deposit and then you can reset your rate once for free at any time rates drop. That's right, at any time during the life of the loan, you can reset your rate to the lowest rate you qualify for at that time at no additional cost. It's that easy. Visit foundersfcu.com/mortgage to learn more. Find your local mortgage loan officer or to start your application. You can always start your application and save your progress to complete later. Not a member with Founders yet? Don't wait. Visit us online or stop by an office to see if you qualify for membership. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required. Equal housing lender. Institution NMLS. Identifier number 410646.
They lay it all bare. Competition fierce, but respect, it's there. Shane Beamer, his voice rings loud and clear. In South Carolina, he's leading the team near. Dabble Swinney with his fiery passion. In Clemson, he's got the fans in a sensation. On Talking Tuesday, they straight game plan. Coaches Beamer and Swinney, strategies and struggles, they lay it all bare. Competition fierce, but respect, it's there. Game preparation, every detail counts.
All right, it's a Talking Tuesday, even though we're not in football season. Why not have a Talking Tuesday every Tuesday? Talking with you, 888-898-2525 is the phone number. We're going to announce our bracket winner here coming up. We actually know who it is. We actually know who finished second. And we know some of the others who finished down the line just a little bit. We know who finished third. So we'll do that in just a little bit. I want to tell you, of course, it's a beautiful day today, and that only means there's more beautiful days ahead in South Carolina, which means you want to make plans to get down to the beach because that's where it's the most beautiful along the coast of South Carolina. I mean, you might like the mountains, and you might enjoy the Midlands and the lake, but, man, you can't beat the beach. Cannot beat it. And so Let somebody help you beat the rush for great accommodations the rest of this spring into the summer. That's Jimmy Smith at James Smith Real Estate. His phone number is 843-237-4246. I hope you've written that down at least once. I hope you've called him at least once. 843-237-4246, online at pauliesvacationrentals.com. And you know what? If they're all full up, if you can't find a great property from them, then we'll put you in touch with Bergie, and you can rent the Bergie Palace 2 down in Georgetown.
Well, it's your own fault because we've been telling you for months to get in touch with Jimmy. Don't wait until April, May, and June. And, oh, by the way, for those of you who are traveling off 95 down towards the beach, just keep in mind and be patient. There is construction right there at Gallivant's Ferry on the bridge on 501. And when I was going down Saturday, it backed up traffic for almost a mile.
Really?
So just to give you exactly. And if they don't get this done here in the next month, oh my.
I've often thought about posting a boat down there, a little fishing boat, and driving and parking there at the gas station, and then just getting in my boat and taking the Waccamaw down into Georgetown. Just take the Waccamaw and go that. You know,
be a nice little ride.
Well, I imagine it's faster than going in on 501 and all that traffic you should get.
There's no question.
Yeah. But that aside, don't let that distract you or discourage you. Call Jimmy and do it now, 843-237-4246, online at pauliesvacationrentals.com. Shane Beamer coming up in just a couple of minutes. Back to Hank we go here on Sports Talk, 888-898-2525. Okay, Hank, back with you.
Hey, yeah, Corn, just two things. One, y'all was talking about Raven Johnson. The reason that Raven Johnson is so coveted is because she's what's called an old school point guard. Her scoring fell off a little bit this year, but coming into the year, she was projected a first-round draft pick in the NBA draft, and even toward the end that she was to come out, they were still saying that she was in to the top of the second round because she led the conference, and in her first couple of years, was one in the top 5 in the nation in the assist to turnover ratio. So she's not that flashy, new age, score 18 points kind of point guard, but she was the kind of one that a lot of teams in the league want because they have players like Asia Wilson and Brown Stewart, girls who are down low, and they want somebody that knows how to run a team. That's her value, and that's her value to Carolina's team. If you ever check their plus minuses, it was always much more heavier when she was on the floor than when she was off Carolina. But in terms of the transfer, she was born in Miami, but she actually, as you said, played with Raven on our high school team, and they won the Dix National Championship for girls. Like the same one they played for boys, they won that for girls twice. But also, they won the National AAU Championship for FBC United, which is a Under Armour squad. And on their team was, along with Raven Johnson and the Lansing girl, who's been a three-time, I think she's been a 3-time All-American in NCAA. But she played with Raven, Malaysia Fulwiler, Joyce Edwards, and Ashlyn Watkins. They were all on the same AAU team, along with some other girls that played at NC State and North Carolina, who won the National AAU championships back-to-back. So she's very familiar with them, used to playing with them. Wish she came in right out of high school, but she's there now. So she was the number one player in the portal according to ESPN. So I think somebody was asking last night about the talent Don was bringing in with her and the two down All-Americans. I think she hasn't slipped off any. So.
Do you expect any other departures? Since Walker is gone now, do you expect any other departures?
No. I know we're going to probably pick up another player. We're going to pick up a post player that's probably older, like Lasson also, because Don's been speaking about that for some weeks. We're going to probably pick up an elite post. She said she wanted to pick up an elite post and an elite wing in order to balance not only leadership with the team as older players, but also to give them a chance, for asking them to work back into their season next year. And so I expect them to pick up at least another. I know they're going to pick up at least another player in the portal. With Sakima leaving, they had the option of bringing in another one. And Don doesn't normally fill out her roster all the way to 15, but with this rev sharing and the fact that they probably won't be getting any of the rev sharing and all be going to football, she may go ahead and use that 15 scholarship.
Well, we'll see what happens. The wheels are turning, and South Carolina trying to retool with this offseason. Thank you very much, Hank. We appreciate the phone call. Trying to retool and maintain their place among the top 3 or 4 programs in the country, and don't see why that won't be the case. Again, you get a healthy Ashlyn Watkins back on the floor. You got Raven Johnson coming back. You got this transfer from Florida State. They have the makings of another Final Four team, Chris. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
No, I didn't anticipate, even without the addition of Tanaya Latson, I didn't anticipate they wouldn't be a team that could make it all the way back to the Final Four. You hit on a good point last night, aside from the fact they're just a very, very good program now and have established themselves as one of the elite programs in the country. The challenges are just not there. Like for Florida, for instance, it's going to be really hard for them to get back and win a national championship next year, just because if they kept the same team, just because of what they've got to go through. On the women's side, you don't have the depth of talent running through the men's program, running through their programs the way you do on the men's side. And I'm not sure what Hank does for a living. USC would be well served to hire him as part of their sports information office to help out with women's basketball, because he knows the team better than Dawn does, I think.
He knows his stuff. He knows his stuff. That's why
does.
I value his phone calls. Phone calls like that are few and far between. Don't take that personal, anybody. But you can all step up your game just a little bit, like Hank does. Okay, phone number 888-898-2525. Let's announce the winner of our bracket challenge, the Sports Talk bracket battle for 2025. We actually have a name to go with the name on the bracket. The bracket name is Bobby Brackets. Bobby Brackets is none other than we don't have a Chong. We don't have a.
It's cymbals.
Yeah, cymbals. That's not really good. That's a gong. We don't have cymbals to come at the end of the. Okay, the winner, and he did quite well. 99.9%, 1,730 points. So he won by 40 points. The winner, Bobby Brackets, none other than David Hood.
All right.
Way to go, David.
David Hood of TigerNet?
David Hood of TigerNet wins our bracket contest. Now, David, because you are sometimes employed by Palmetto Sports Media, Sports Talk Media Network, and we consider you family, you are ineligible for any – no, I'm kidding. He gets everything that is coming to him, whatever that happens to be. Can anybody remember what the prizes were supposed to be? I think we were going to give him a USC women's basketball season ticket. Is that what we're going to give him?
No. Exactly.
First place.
And sideline passes to all
Gamecock
Carolina
football
home games.
Everything he cannot use. All right, what are our prizes?
2 tickets to the Southern 500, 2 tickets to an in-state
which
college.
he can't go to because he's got football.
Fair.
Actually, he could go to it because Clemson plays on Saturday. Yeah. So I take that back. Go ahead.
2 tickets to an in-state college football game of your favorite team based on availability.
Mm-hmm.
And second place pay. Oh my God!
Speak.
Second place pays a commemorative CFP 2024 football and a commemorative Ronald Acuna bat.
Okay, he might want those. He might want to negotiate out. Knowing David, how much he loves baseball and having a Clemson thing, he might want to negotiate down for that. And I'm willing to negotiate with him. Finishing second, Justin Anderson, who I am told, believe it or not, the son of Reggie Anderson.
Oh, wow.
How did Reggie produce something that could finish second in our event?
99.3%.
99.3. Good for him.
Now, if memory serves, his son and Reggie, they're huge race fans. And so they may actually enjoy the opportunity to go to the Southern 500.
Well,
Reggie would have to work it, but his son could go enjoy the race.
I'm going to give them an autograph 8x10 glossy of Jimmy Spencer. That's Reggie's favorite driver of all time, Jimmy Spencer. So give him one of those. You finished tied. You finished tied for third?
I did.
Yeah, you finished strong.
Yes, I did.
You finished strong.
I had a few upsets that didn't go my way early, but once we got rolling into the Sweet 16, and actually I only had 3 of the 4 in the Final Four. I did not have Auburn, but I did get both the national championship teams and did pick Florida.
Let's see here. Pat Daniel was 24th, and the plumber came in 26th, 81%.
Smitty was 21.
Smitty was 21?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name?
For Norman Dale.
That's right, for Norman Dale. Who was Norman Dale? Oh, that was
Gene Hackman's character in
yeah.
Hoosiers.
Yeah.
He played the head coach of the Hickory team. So, yeah, that was in honor of the late, unfortunately now, Gene Hackman.
He was about 89%. I tied K-Mac, so at least that's sort of a personal victory. K-Mac must die. And my picks, we tied at 58.7%. That's pitiful. That is absolutely pitiful. Okay, well, we appreciate everybody that participated. We had a great bracket group. A lot of folks jumped in on it. Congratulations, David Hood. You win, we lose, and also first loser would be the second place, which is first loser, and that's Justin Anderson. So we will get in touch and figure out who wants what. Maybe between all those awards, we'll move some things around to make everybody happy. Okay, a lot of fun with the bracket challenge for this year, and we can put it away for another year. And before you know it, I mean, basketball practice starts in June, doesn't it? Don't they start?
Oh, gosh, they'll be doing individual workouts probably next week.
Yeah, I mean, there's just
my guess is Kelvin Sampson had his guys practicing when they got back to U of H today.
Yeah, those who plan to return, you know.
Yeah,
all right, let's run to the
That's
break, and we'll be back with more in just a moment. 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery Lucky number. Also text us at 803-900-4847. Here's a quick text message. I've not heard yet, but can South Carolina support a WNBA team? I don't think so.
I think you've said that 4 times now.
He obviously didn't hear it the third time or second time or first time. So I would say no, probably cannot. Be right back.
When I grew up, I want to be a nurse. I want to be an engineer. I want to be a teacher.
There's never been a better time to start making their dreams come true. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan, makes it easy to save for their future education. Contributions are tax deductible, earnings are tax free, and you can start saving right now with any amount. Go to futurescholar.com today to discover the smart, easy way to save for college. That's futurescholar.com.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
If you're looking to grow your business, Sports Talk is here to help. Whether you're a small business owner or part of a large company in the Palmetto State, we want to hear about what you do. Sports Talk has a proven track record of delivering real results to our partners, and advertising with us is probably more affordable than you think. Our network of affiliates gives us the flexibility to work with budgets of all sizes, and our statewide coverage means that whether you're in Greenville, Orangeburg, Chesterfield, Charleston, Woodruff, or anywhere in between, your future customers are listening to Sports Talk every night. Radio remains one of the most effective ways to reach potential customers, and with our extensive reach across South Carolina, your message will be heard. Every business has a story, and we're here to help share yours. Let's find success together. Email us at sportstalkmedianetwork@gmail.com or visit sportstalksc.com to learn more about how we can help grow your business.
Nothing on that beat. Nope.
All right, update the baseball. South Carolina and upstate, they are scoreless. Bottom of the first, Gamecocks have first and second and one out. And Wilmington is leading Coastal Carolina. Top of the third, 3-1, 2 outs, runner on first for Coastal Carolina. All right, just to finish this text message, will O'Donnell Fortune, Josh Simons, will they get drafted? Where will they go? The other players? I think Fortune and Simons are going to get drafted. Yeah, I think those two are definite for being picked. Couldn't tell you where right now, but I think they had good pro days, good workouts, had really good season last year for South Carolina. So, yeah, I would expect them to get drafted. All right, back to the phones, 888-898-2525. Andy in Columbia up next. Andy, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing great, fellas. Hope you all are doing well. Congratulations to Josh and his Gators. Couple quick basketball things. Ashlyn Watkins, she hurt her knee close to February. How quick do you really think she's going to be back? I mean, I don't see her back before January at the earliest, if that.
It just depends.
You mean Juju Watkins?
No, Ashlyn. You talking about Juju or Ashlyn?
Juju hurt her knee in the
tournament.
Yeah. Ashlyn was in late January, early February at Mississippi State, correct? During conference play.
Well, a lot depends on the person, how severe the injury was. I don't know all the details. I know, Clemson has had players go down in their spring game in April with knee injuries, have surgery, and they're back playing by September, October. So a lot depends on how hard you work.
Dabo puts the juju on him. Something.
Puts his hands on him or whatever.
I read something regarding women and knee surgeries that they say takes a little bit longer for, I don't know why. They didn't say why in the article that I read, but it takes them a little bit longer for recovery than man.
Yeah, she was hurt on January 5th. So, and it's an ACL. Chris, you're a lot closer to that kind of stuff than I am. You have kind of an expert that in the family there. So, an ACL.
Yeah, why don't you ask Finn? Can Finn tell us?
I'm talking about the other expert. I'm talking about the real boss.
Okay.
Finn's just hoping not to injure his ACL. Now, my wife is an athletics trainer, and she will tell you every injury is different. There's a
if it was a clean, one thing I know from following them and reading about them, if it's a clean thing, there's not a lot of peripheral damage, so to speak. Excuse me, collateral damage. You might be like a cough. You might be able to recover from it quicker than you might expect. So 8 or 9 months recovery might be within the realm of possibility. It's certainly gotten a lot faster than it was a few years ago when you could expect an ACL to keep you out more than a year. I mean, they've really cut the recovery time down through modern medicine.
Well, she's a big young lady. She carries a lot of weight on that knee. So, I don't know.
I don't think we should be talking about women's
Chris
weights.
Can find out from his wife.
I think we have to draw the line.
Thing that I said about women taking a little bit longer to heal. I don't know if that's just something I read that's a bunch of BS or not.
I don't think she's all that heavy. She looks very athletic to me. She didn't strike me as being plump or anything.
I'm saying she's a big young lady. I didn't say plump. She's
she's very athletic. She's agile and she can touch the rim. She can dunk.
Saying someone's big isn't.
Don't talk about a woman's weight.
I didn't say anything about her weight.
You said she was heavy. Muscular. You said words. She's heavy. You said did she say? Play it back. We got it on tape.
Big.
She said she was
heavy.
And
the problem is, Andy, the easier term that Phil can understand is she's tall.
When do the men have to declare for the NBA draft? Because I saw a mock draft today, and I saw CMB in the number 10 position going to Houston.
Number 2?
10.
Oh, 10.
Yeah.
Declare for the NBA draft. That is, what's the date? Come on, AI. Be better than this. The deadline to apply is, that was last
April
year.
26th.
Okay, April 26th. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Your AI is better than my AI.
They said he's a possible lottery, depending on how his workouts go, but they think right now he's a 10 at this point. Going to Houston, which isn't going to be Houston's pick. That's who Houston got a trade for. I think it's Sacramento or somebody like that.
You never know at the NBA draft who you're actually going to play for. Some teams draft you. Next thing you know, you're with some other team. You got another hat. They give you another cap.
Well, and let's not forget all those European players that get pushed in that no one's ever heard of that all of a sudden pop up too. But I also saw Mel Kiper's mock, and Eamon Wari, I forgot what team, but I think 19th or 20th.
That sounds about right.
Kennard, isn't that his name, the defensive tackle?
Mm-hmm. Kyle Kennard.
Yeah, he wasn't even in the top. He wasn't even picked in the top 2 rounds.
Yeah,
Kuiper projected.
We got to run. I haven't really seen his name a lot in projections for the first round, and Eman Wari has been somewhere down there between 18 and 25. Thank you, Andy. Grand slam by Mayshore. South Carolina leads Upstate 4-0, bottom of the first. Let's squeeze in one more quick one before the top of the hour. Where are we going? I don't. Not doing the job, Plumber.
It's on there for me. You don't see it?
It's not on my sheet.
We're going to go to Bruce in Missouri.
I don't see it either.
Well,
you're outvoted. Loser. Bruce.
You're right.
Bruce, you got about a minute. Spit it out.
Okay, I'm spitting it out. Congratulations to the defeat of Carolina girls team. I appreciate them down to the superior.
Wait. Did you say congratulations to the – say that again?
I'm congratulating them for falling down on their knees to the premier.
You're such a hater. You are such an absolute hater.
No, I'm not a hater. I like to watch them.
Okay.
I like to watch.
Would you like to watch them lose? Apparently.
Yeah, you damn right I do. I'm a Clemson fan.
Okay, I understand that.
That's it.
All right, thank you. Congratulations on losing. That's kind of cold. That team was representing, what used to be your state, carrying the state flag. They ain't done. They ain't done winning, okay? And we'll be back.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The death toll rises to over 24 from flooding and tornadoes in the south as more areas prepare for rising rivers.
In Kentucky, where rivers are cresting at historic or near historic levels, Governor Andy Beshear said 4 people have died and scores have had to be rescued.
Another rescue that had to occur because someone drove around barricades. You not only put your life in danger, you put the lives of everybody who's coming to rescue you in danger.
Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg says the Ohio River that runs through the city is expected to crest within the next day or two.
We're 23 feet above normal. We expect that the Ohio River will rise about another 1 foot.
And Louisville canceling their very popular Thunder Over the City event on Saturday because of flooding concerns. I'm Julie Walker.
The Ukrainian military has captured 2 Chinese men fighting alongside the Russian army in the eastern Donetsk region, and has information that significantly more are with Russian forces.
When it comes to China and Russia, before the full-scale invasion, they talked about a relationship with no limits against external threats. What they meant was America. China is the major importer now to Russia, and Western officials have always been fearful of its technology making its way into the missiles and military technology used to fight against Ukrainian troops or to terrorize Ukrainian cities. So this is certainly a development if you look at the accusation President Zelensky is making, but there's a lot of detail missing.
That's BBC correspondent James Waterhouse reporting. There was no immediate comment from China. Beijing is not known to have provided Russia with weapons. Another rough day on Wall Street as the Dow plunged 320 points, the Nasdaq dropping 335. More at townhall.com.
World is spiraling out of control. Financial markets are extremely volatile. Global conflicts are escalating and inflation is everywhere. How do you protect yourself when everything's uncertain? The answer is gold. Specifically, the 2025 1-ounce Gold Eagle in flawless NGC 70 condition from Global Coin. It's a lifeline in these chaotic times. A rock-solid asset that has outperformed for millennia. Call 888-800-1045 right now to lock in this stunning coin for dealer cost. Just $3,199. Free shipping. No sales tax. Secure this tangible asset you can hold today. The first 100 callers get a free MS70 2025 Silver Eagle, 2 U.S. minted legal tender coins to shield you from the storm. Global Coin stands by you with a 30-day return policy because your security matters. Go to globalcoindeal.com or call 888-800-1045 today. They're knowledgeable, professional, and trustworthy. No gimmicks, just incredible coins at incredible prices. 888-800-1045. Call before it's too late. 6.
An early surge lost steam on Wall Street. Seth Sutel reports.
Stocks closed lower again on Wall Street after making another major U-turn. The S&P 500 dropped 1.6% Tuesday after wiping out an early gain of more than 4%. The index is now down about 19%, below the record it set in February. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 320 points. It's about 0.8%. The Dow also gave up a big gain. The Nasdaq Composite lost 2.1%. Uncertainty is still high about what President Donald Trump will do with the trade war he's starting with America's global trading partners. The latest set of taxes on imports, including a 104% levy on imports from China, is scheduled to kick in after midnight. Seth Sutel, New York.
A federal judge has ordered the White House to restore the Associated Press's full access to cover presidential events. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and chilly this evening with the low temperature dipping down to 42. Tomorrow is another glorious spring day. Sunshine-filled skies, the high is 67. For Thursday, it's a blend of sunshine and clouds to go with 75 as our high. We do get a 40% chance of some showers on Friday. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, welcome back. Sports Talk on a Tuesday night. Phil Kornblut, Chris Bergen, and the plumber, Gator Boy Jr. I can't touch the Coens right now because the Gators won and Detroit is kicking my Yankees' arse. I don't know what it is about the city of Detroit right now. They're red hot in sports. Pistons are good. Lions are good.
Really well. I'm kind of surprised.
Tigers have won like 5 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about the Red Wings.
It's going to be a 6th tomorrow.
You keep on dreaming, big boy. Big boy chicken. Don't be calling me in the afternoon to tell me that Tigers won. I don't want to.
No, Chris, I called Phil.
You should
at
only
4
call
o'clock.
me in an emergency.
I asked Phil, did the Yankees even show up today?
Ouch.
Don't be calling me during the day.
The torpedo bats at home, evidently.
A couple of other quick things, then we'll get back to your phone calls. A couple of quick notes I want to mention here. 800-956, I'm sorry, 888-898-2525. Man, you know your brain is starting to shut down when you revert to a number that's 20 years old. 888-898-2525. Clemson finished 22nd in the final AP men's basketball poll. I voted Houston number 1 over Florida just because. No, I'm kidding. I don't have a vote. Obviously, Florida was number 1, Houston number 2. And a couple of lawsuits to keep an eye on. Columbia native Chris Jenkins is suing the NCAA. In federal court in New York, he wants damages for the NIL money he was unable to receive when he was at Villanova. Also, Ante Berzovich from the College of Charleston is suing over the 5-year rule. He wants an injunction for next season. He's using Mark Pepper of the Pepper Law Firm in Charleston. In South Carolina, challenging anti-competitive eligibility limits post Division II, citing a $1 million plus loss of NIL dollars.
Now, I'd like to know where in the world he came up with that figure. Ante Berzovich, when he came out of Division II, I cannot believe that someone would have valued him at $1 million for pay-for-play.
Well, that's one of the issues. I mean, the players think they're worth this. The market will tell them you're worth that. But
exactly.
they all have agents and attorneys who are going to push them to the idea that you're worth this, and you can go get this. It's sort of like, car accident victims, and they have their attorneys, and they're going to go and try and get them as much money as they can. You see the advertisements. We'll get you $300,000 for a toenail injury. And so that's kind of what these, in a lot of cases, it's like pimping. They're pimping these poor guys. I say they're poor. They're doing it on their own volition, but they've got pimps with law degrees that are and they're coming out of the woodwork. These agents that you never heard of. You look at their websites or you look at them on X. They got very few followers. It's all new. They just throw a name together. They throw a website and an X account together, and all of a sudden they're an agent with a fancy sports related name, and they get one guy to sign up with them, and they push that guy through the marketplace and have the schools, of course, competing against one another. This is exactly what baseball had to fight in the early years of free agency, because they couldn't limit the owners from spinning themselves into oblivion.
Yeah. They didn't trust each other.
Yeah, and now the same thing's going to happen to the colleges. You're going to spend yourself into bankruptcy. If you can bankrupt a university, this is the way to do it. So, anyway, we'll see what happens here as the judicial wheel continues to turn with college athletics. A couple of quick text messages here. Text message line brought to you by Larry Lucas Insurance, 803-900-4847. South Carolina women's basketball senior class should hold their heads up high. 4 Final Fours, 2 national titles. Awesome career. Kudos to Staley and team. That was from somebody. We should ask you to put your name on there. Be a little more personal. Here's another. Korn is the new transfer from Florida State going to play more than 12 minutes. I would hope so.
She better play defense then.
Talking about the other day, you could tell who was going to win the game as at the Saturday Open practice. UConn, mind on the game. South Carolina, mind on dancing. This is from Dave. Walker, what a joke. Dave. Well, Dave put his name on there. Thank you, Dave. Let's see here. This one is, oh boy, got a whole bunch here. Shane is a gift that keeps on giving. Can't wait to hear his ass when they finish around 6-6 this year. They're not going to finish 6-6. They'll be much better than that.
And if you're texting, you can at least clean up your language for us. Come on now. Be better.
Well, ASS, I don't have a problem with that.
Be better.
This is men talk. This is adult men talk. We can
how,
say
how often. I'm 54 years old. How often have you ever heard me curse?
Well, you have a deeper vocabulary than most. I mean, cursing is just because you have a weak vocabulary.
Exactly.
I curse a lot.
Like I said, that's all I ask. Be
I curse.
better.
I cuss.
I set the bar up
I don't
here.
curse.
Come
I
meet
cuss.
me up here.
I cuss like a sailor.
Come meet me up
You
here.
ever? All right. You ever taken a hammer to your thumb? Did you cuss the first time you took a hammer to your thumb?
No.
Oh, come on.
Well, first
What are
off,
you?
I hit the nail, not my thumb.
Yeah, but sometimes you hit the thumb. It's inevitable.
if you've ever seen me build something, you would understand why I don't take a hammer to anything.
You take a hammer to your thumb. I want to hear what your language sounds like. All right, back to the phones. Let's go to, is it Luke? You say Luke in Florence? Okay, Luke, welcome to Sports Talk. How are you?
This is Duke in Florence. I have two questions for you.
Yes, sir.
How many transfers can they bring in basketball each year? Men's basketball.
There's no limit. There's no limit.
Okay.
All depends on how many spots you have available. So if you got 5 spots, you want to bring in 5 transfers, you can bring in 5.
Okay, or if you wanted to bring in 8,
You can bring in 8,
right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing is, do you have any idea? I can't, I mean, I watch the internet and all that. Do you have any idea who else they're trying to bring in? I know they mentioned Homer Huff out of Chattanooga. Is there anybody else they're trying to bring in?
Yeah, I don't think he is going to be involved with South Carolina from what I've read.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of other one of these. It's early. I've seen a couple of reports on South Carolina having contact with this guy or that guy, but I don't like to really get too involved or too interested until they actually start making a visit. Anybody can be contacted by 20, 25 schools. Let's wait and see who the next people are to visit, and you'll have a little better idea.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks
sir.
very much.
Thank you.
Be
We
good.
appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.
Oh, Ethan Petrie just hit career homer number 53. 6-0 Gamecocks, bottom of the second. Closing in on the all-time record. Let's go to Tiger Bryant, who I know has never used profanity in his life. Or if he did, I bet you Mrs. Tiger Bryant took a bar of soap and washed out that mouth.
Hey, Cole.
Yes, sir.
I had to bite my tongue on that.
I understand.
But hey, that guy from Missouri, I'm a Clemson fan. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
He gonna dog your Gamecocks down. But I mean, they've been awesome on the girls basketball. I mean, he's gonna dog them down now. I got to give my Gamecock fans ditto. Yeah, they've done a good job. But the Florida, that was I went to bed. I've had a bad week, I told you, and then we went to bed. I woke up this morning and seen the replay. Florida, that was a good game. Houston, had a 12-point lead?
Yeah, double digits. Mm-hmm.
I was like, but I support. I mean, I don't support Gamecocks when they play my team.
Mm-hmm.
But when they play anybody else, I support them. You know what I mean? But I don't like nobody dogging South Carolina teams down.
There you go.
Like you said, Cole, represent our state. But I'll tell you what, our baseball team is kicking tail. I'm not going to say no bad word.
When Clemson goes to the College World Series in Omaha, I'm sure that Gamecock fans and Coastal fans will get behind them as representing the state, just like you should get behind the USC. Huh? No?
I don't know.
Am I wrong about that?
I got some Gamecock fans that they say SEC. They called me this morning. SEC won national championship in basketball. But I'm not an ACC fan. I told you, I'm a Clemson fan, but I'm a South Carolina man. You know what I mean?
I understand. Tiger Bryant, I hate to cut you, but I got to get to this Shane Beamer stuff here before we get too tight on time. So we'll hear from you. Give us a call tomorrow night again.
All right. Thank you, buddy.
Appreciate it, pal. All right, Tiger Bryant. I want to get this in, so we need to get to it right now. So here's Shane Beamer. You'll enjoy this. You got to listen all the way to the end, too. So stay with it all the way to the end. Shane Beamer, as he talked to the media today in Columbia.
Challenged our guys this morning, had our first scrimmage of the year on Saturday. So human nature, you have a scrimmage, had a couple days off or Sunday off, and then you come back in here and just kind of take a breath and coast and don't get better today. And that was the opposite of what our guys showed. Thought we had a great day out there today, very spirited, very intense, very energetic for sure. Got a lot of situational work in today, introduced 2-minute offense as well. And we know what that wins and loses games. You can look back at our game last year against Alabama, 2-minute situations before the half and in the fourth quarter on offense and defense. You look at Missouri, we scored in a 2-minute drill before the half, and then obviously we had a 2-minute drill to win the game as well. So, and then games that we lost where we gave up points before the half on defense, LSU and Ole Miss, and understanding that in this league, every game's close and it's a small margin for error, and those 2-minute opportunities can be the difference in winning and losing. So got some great situational work today as well. I'll be back out on the field on Thursday, back in the stadium Saturday for another scrimmage, and then finish up next week as well. But really like the way we're working, like this group, getting a lot of young guys, a lot of work, and it's been fun coaching this group and seeing us just continue to get better through the first, 2/3, I guess, of spring ball. So excited about the remainder of it as we go forward. No new injury updates from last week. Everything's still the same. We've been fairly fortunate. Got some guys that are banged up a little bit with just normal bumps and bruises, but no one new, knock on wood, from a long-term standpoint, without a doubt. Have our Ladies' Day coming up this upcoming Saturday. Still have spots remaining. That's always a fun day. And for all the ladies that are Gamecock fans, young and old, so come on out. We'd love to have you. It's our coaches look forward to it, players look forward to it, and a fun day this upcoming Saturday. So hope to see so many out here for that. There's a ton of energy. I've always gotten yelled at by the ladies because the last couple of years we've done it the weekend of the Women's Final Four. So we did not do it this year, the weekend of the Women's Final Four. So I would expect all those ladies that give me stuff about poor timing and don't do it when the women are in the Final Four, I didn't this year. So I would hope our numbers are sky high this year as well. And then real quick, let me just get on the little soapbox real quick. I understand, got great respect for all of you and know that you have a job to do, and I try and give you all the access that we possibly can with also understanding that there's a competitive aspect of it as well. Our practices are closed, for a reason, but also understand that you have a job to do to report things. But it is frustrating for me as the head coach when last Tuesday or Thursday, a lot of you weren't here because you were with the basketball team already, but we had media availability, and I actually added, I think, 20 or 30 minutes to it to try and give you guys even more access. During that time, we didn't do any 11-on-11 work, meaning the offense versus the defense, not even any full offensive work where you would see, here's the group that's out there with the offensive line. So it was very disappointing when an article comes out that says, here's the first team offensive line, second team offensive line, and third team offensive line. I mean, that's horse crap, guys. We don't have a first team, second team, third team right now. We don't. It's freaking April. So for a reporter to come out there and say, here's the third team offensive guard, I mean, what are we doing? So if you come out there and it's 11-on-11 and you watch the offense 11 people versus the defense 11 people, and there's Lenore Sellers, yeah, that's probably our first group if there was such a thing. We didn't do any of that. It's drill work, meaning the offensive line are over there with Lonnie Teasley and Greg Atkins, and they're going through drills and they're trying to get better fundamentally. And there might be a guy that might be out there with what you think is the first group because you see Josiah Thompson, and he might just be, that's part of his station in that drill. It's drill work. And again, this isn't Shane sitting up here telling you what to report, but how you sit there and break down, here's the first team, second team, third team, and put that in writing in a drill. Not even against an opponent, not even the tight ends lined up next to the offensive lineman, not even a running back behind the offensive lineman, a drill, which I don't even know what they're doing in the drill. But they sure as heck aren't doing, here's the first team offensive line, second team offensive line, third team offensive line, because I wish I knew that, who it was. So it's disappointing and frustrating for me when we're talking to our players. I've not used the word all spring, first group, second group, third group with our players. We got an A group, B group, C group, and guys that might be redshirting this year are getting work with the A group. Guys that might be a starter for us are getting work with the B group. We just rotate it through that way. So then an article comes out that here's the third team offensive guard when I'm sitting here telling the players we don't even have that because we don't. So if you got a question about something, just ask me before we report. Here's the third team left tackle as well. So again, try and give you guys access and try and make y'all's jobs easy, but also just make sure we're smart with what we're reporting as well. Plus, I love all the insider reports from our scrimmage last weekend about Jaden Sellers. He didn't even scrimmage. I mean, somebody's going to ask me about Jaden Sellers today and how great a scrimmage he had. He was sick. He didn't scrimmage. So I know there's a lot of information out there, and everybody could say, well, Shane, just open up every practice, and we don't have to get bad information and things like that. Well, I don't. Until every other school in America opens up spring practices, and we're all out there reporting what everybody's doing, great, I'll do it then. But right now, we have a lot. We have a new offensive coordinator. We're doing some new things offensively. We're doing some new things defensively. We're doing some new things special teams-wise. So I don't want the whole world to see everything that we're doing right now as well. And again, if you come out there to practice and your job, I'm not telling you what to report and what not to report, but be smart about reporting. Here's the first team, second team, and third team based on what you saw of 17 offensive linemen doing a drill by themselves with Lonnie Teasley. So that's my soapbox today. What do we got, David? Welcome back. How was Tampa?
It was hot.
Yeah, it was hot. I was burned up. A little warm in here right now. Let's go.
Shane, again, it's just scrimmage, spring work, all that kind of stuff. But with Mike installing a new or tweaked or his version of the offense, is there a percentage on what you think is in right now? So we got this down and we got the rest over the summer and fall?
Yeah, I'd say, I don't want to say the bulk of it. Mike may disagree. I think what we've done, David, or know what we've done is really just base concepts that we know that we're going to do and just really trying to get those installed and learned, and then you can kind of build off that, where here's our base concept, and now we're going to do it out of a different personnel grouping or different formation, without a doubt. That also is trying to figure out what we can do, because we don't have a depth chart, David. So we've got a lot of receivers that are competing to be in that rotation, and we're trying to figure out who fits where, and whether it's inside, outside. But from a conceptual playbook standpoint, if you will, there's quite a bit in, don't get me wrong, and there's not a ton that we would say, here's stuff that's still coming, but we threw a lot at them early on, and I would say the bulk of it is in. And that was kind of us last year, too. I mean, we didn't do a ton schematically, volume-wise, too much. We had our base concepts, and we just kind of dressed them up week to week, and let's figure out what we're good at, run game and pass game as well.
Shane, with all the young receivers, who's kind of stood out so far, and just what do you expect? I mean, obviously, with such a big class of freshman receivers, what do they need to do to kind of separate themselves, and what have you seen from them so far?
Yeah, they've come along. They in that scrimmage, speaking of young guys, Malik Clark really had a good day on Saturday. Brian Rowe did some good things on Saturday. Those are two guys that continue to just, really come along. All those guys, Lex, Jaden, Jordan. I think right now the thing for them is just learning the details, lined up, stances, alignments. You're split on this play, meaning how far you are from the offensive tackles, a little bit different, play to play, scheme to scheme. So just learning those details like that. And that's what we've talked to them a lot about is a lot of what we're putting in offensively is in, where early on it was trying to learn what they're to do, like what my job is on that play. Let's really focus now on the whole concept and what the other 10 people are doing around me, or if I'm a receiver, not what the offensive guard's doing necessarily, but the whole concept of the play. So that's where they need to work to improve. But I feel like they've, in the first, 9 practices, they've really come along, and I think they've all flashed at certain times. Jaden has done some really good things. Lex has done some really good things. Brian Rowe has done some really good things. Malik has done some good things. Jordan, and then Donovan Murph's been out there as much as he can as well, watching us also. So I like that group, along with the returners, Jerry Brown and Mazio and Nick. It's a fun group, and there's a lot of competition in there right now.
With Jalen being down for the rest of spring and Wendell going to the portal,
Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody on the roster that y'all have tried to look at at defensive end to help with the numbers there? Or do you feel like you're kind of in a good spot at this point?
I wouldn't say we're in a good spot. As far as anybody on the roster, no. That we've talked about at this point of potentially doing that. We need to get our defensive tackle position solidified, who those guys are going to be, and then we need to get that edge position solidified. And we've got some young guys right now that are going through spring practice that we have high expectations for, but I don't feel great about the position right now. Not the talent in the room, but just the depth in the room. We were already a little bit thin to begin with, before spring practice, and then we lose Jalen. Wendell decides to transfer. Now a already thin group is even thinner with two guys down or gone for now. One gone, one not gone, but you know what I mean. So we need to continue to solidify the depth in there for sure. And, there's different avenues to do that. But as far as anybody on our team right now, no.
As you guys look to replace, a veteran center from last season, I know Stanley's one of those guys in there. I know other players are getting reps in there as well. What's that dynamic like in terms of, looking for someone, but at the same time, too, also trying to figure out with Sellers and trying to get his development? Do you put more on his plate this year because he knows the offense a little bit more, or, do you try to ease those guys in?
Yeah, a little of both. Certainly, we're worried about Lenoris and him taking the next step from a physical standpoint and mental standpoint, no question about it. But also, we're going to have a new center, and we're going to have a new backup center, most likely, and chance we may have a brand new third team center whenever that depth chart is solidified, which right now it's not. And those guys, I think it's kind of each position kind of its own entity. Lenoris has got to be Lenoris and continue to get better, but we also knowing that the center does so much in our offense as well, bringing that guy along, whatever that may be, bless you. So those guys are working. We're fortunate that the guys that are working at center, they're guys that have been around college football for a little bit. It's not like they're freshmen out of high school for sure. So a little bit of both, but that's what spring's for, and getting guys out of their comfort zone and continuing to grow, and that's what we're doing right now. Nothing, Lulu? Are you still in basketball mode?
Unfortunately, I don't want to waste your time.
Not wasting my time. Phil? No? I didn't yell. I've seen a lot of coaches in press conferences yell. I was not yelling. I was just making a point. Surely you're not intimidated, Phil. Okay.
I wasn't going to get yelled at today.
I can't blame you.
I wasn't in the mood. That was great. I love it. I love coaches. I do love that. I don't care if they're yelling at me or not yelling. I don't want. He said he.
They are so inherently paranoid.
Yeah,
though. I mean, even if you put every play on tape for somebody to watch, 99% of us have no idea what you're doing. And if you're good enough, who cares what the other team sees?
They're concerned that coordinator there for Virginia Tech's going to pick up something and have a key. They're going to have a key. And
if you're good enough, does it matter?
They're going to shift their linebackers exactly where Lenoris Sellers is going to be running and stuff him for a 7-yard loss.
You've seen Lenoris play. Does he look like a guy who's going to be stuffed for many losses?
Not usually. Be back in a moment.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and chilly this evening with the low temperature dipping down to 42. Tomorrow is another glorious spring day. Sunshine-filled skies, the high is 67. For Thursday, it's a blend of sunshine and clouds to go with 75 as our high. We do get a 40% chance of some showers on Friday. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Big news, folks. The Palmetto State Armory suppressor selection has gotten bigger and better. We've made the process easier and faster than ever. Whether you're looking to reduce recoil, protect your hearing, or just enjoy a quieter shooting experience, getting your suppressor is now a breeze. With a simple, streamlined application, you can choose to pick it up in store or have it shipped straight to your doorstep once approved. No headaches, no hassle. Just the largest suppressor selection at unbeatable prices. Visit PalmettoStateArmory.com or one of our 9 retail locations today to learn more.
with SRN News. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu traveled to Washington this week for a hastily organized visit, bringing a long list of concerns. Iran, tariffs, Turkey's surging influence in Syria, and the war in Gaza. Netanyahu appeared to leave Monday's meeting largely empty-handed, a stark contrast with his triumphant visit 2 months ago. In an hour-long Oval Office appearance, President Trump appeared to challenge many of Netanyahu's policy prerogatives. Monday's meeting shows that while Trump remains sympathetic to Israel, Netanyahu's relationship with the president during his second term is more complicated and unpredictable than he may have expected. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 320 points, the Nasdaq dropped 335. More details at srnnews.com.
So who needs broker solar? Well, it's the homeowner or the business owner that want to take some control of their own power bills. It's the family that decides clean solar is the path for them. Or maybe it's the church or nonprofit that wants to save some big dollars for their cause. Is it you? Maybe it's time you wake up to all Broker Solar can do for you. You have to let Ken and his team be your ultimate guide in what is pretty complex, this solar world. Make no mistake, solar energy is not for everyone. Despite what the scammers and door-knocking liars tell you, it is not free. It's a significant investment, but it has significant returns. From home installations to solar farms, Broker Solar can personalize your solar solution by meeting your needs and your budget. Their menu includes everything from full-scale solar on your roof or land and even battery backups for those pesky power outages that we've all endured. Visit brokersolar.com, stick it to the utility companies while also bathing in the sunny side of savings. Brokersolar.com, giving you the power instead of leaving you feeling powerless.
Step into a future full of possibilities at the City of Columbia's 4th Annual Career Fair. Join us on Tuesday, April 22nd as city departments gather to showcase a wealth of career opportunities waiting for you. Discover roles offering flexibility, competitive health benefits, and professional development. Engage in on-the-spot interviews, and hey, you might just walk out with an offer. We'll see you at the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center, Tuesday the 22nd from 9 to 3. Visit columbiasc.gov and click on Job Opportunities.
Hey y'all, it's Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We're introducing our new healthy gluten-free menu. For your choices, we offer charbroiled certified Angus ribeye steak, juicy marinated grilled chicken dinner, fresh grilled salmon, authentic Greek salad, hamburger steak with grilled onions and melted cheese, shish kebab with grilled chicken, veggie blue plate with a choice of 4 vegetable selections, spring chicken salad, and of course, our famous slow-roasted pot roast. Come and enjoy a healthy gluten-free menu at Flight Deck Restaurant. We at Flight Deck Restaurant thank you, and God bless.
Ronald Reagan once said, "Man is not free until government is limited." In South Carolina, our spending is up 59% in 4 years, and we are not free. Where's the money going? Not to roads. You all know that. Not to schools. We're 42 out of 50. I'm Ram Reddy. Go to dogesc.com and join the revolution to cut spending, cut taxes, and return the money to the citizen.
Paid for by My Voice SC, 2 Office Park Court, Suite 103, Columbia, South Carolina, 29223.
Want to hear my success story? I'm Fran Halloran, the money coach. I'm celebrating a decade of partnering with The Point. It's one of the best decisions I ever made. I've used The Point to significantly grow my small business. It started with a meeting with Kevin Cohen. Do you own a small business? Are you on a limited budget? No problem. Reach out to Kev at 563-8558. Get a customized plan and start your journey to business growth with The Point today. Success is one call away. Take the leap.
Okay, time to talk about the weekend that was at Darlington. Another glorious weekend for NASCAR at the track Too Tough to Tame, but Denny Hamlin got himself another win. He's getting better with age, closing in on like 60 career wins, and a little overtime action, a little excitement there towards the end after early domination. Let's welcome in Josh Harris, president of Darlington as he has escorted the last visitor out of the grounds, closed the gate behind him, and said, "We'll see you Labor Day." How was everything for you?
It was a phenomenal week and weekend. I think about this time last week when we chatted, we had just opened the campgrounds for the week, and all throughout the week we felt the energy and that enthusiasm building as we got into Saturday and Sunday. I thought we had great Xfinity Series race, and Brandon Jones kind of taking that one, his second win at Darlington, and then Sunday you had William Byron kind of dominate most of that race throughout long stretches, and ultimately why we stick around, and because you never know what's going to happen, the late race caution switched it up, and Denny Hamlin gets his 5th Darlington career win, and like you said, gets him closer to that 60 career win number. So it was cool to see Sport Clips in Victory Lane on Sunday. They're a big partner of ours on the Xfinity race, and to have their car win was really cool. Got to celebrate with their team, and then everything in between, from all the fan stuff that we did on and off the track and around the community. Couldn't be more proud of our team and everything that we put together.
Well, Chris is going to ask you some X's and O's about the race in a moment, because I was with covering the Final Four women down in Tampa, as you probably know, so I hate that I missed it. I think it's the first race I've missed at Darlington since the closest finish ever. What was that, 2003?
Yeah, Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch.
Oh, my gosh, really?
I think
That's
so.
an impressive streak.
I think so, because I was at the ACC basketball championship game on that particular day, which I think was a Sunday, and we missed the closest race ever. Yeah, I hadn't missed a race, I don't think, since then, except for this past weekend, and I hated it, of course. But how did you feel about turnout, fans in the seats, just everything else off the track, around the facility? How'd you feel about the way things went there?
Yeah, we ended up with a really strong crowd on Sunday and Saturday. I was walking through the fan zone Saturday leading up to the start of the race, and I could tell there were more people than we've had for the last couple of years, which was great to see. And certainly Sunday, our ticket sales numbers were up. We had more campers on property than we've had in a couple of years for the spring. So all in all, can't thank the fans enough for turning up and showing up at the racetrack. And when you think about, we had Track Laps for Charity Thursday night. It was one of our highest ever numbers from a track lap standpoint, and what the money we raised for the BFW and their Help a Hero scholarship. Brad Keselowski came out that night and took pictures in Victory Lane with everybody that participated, and we had a great time. And Saturday we had the throwback parade after the Xfinity Series race, had great participation from current drivers and a lot of the former drivers. We had a lot of those former drivers in Q&As and and autograph sessions throughout the weekend. So, like I said, really happy with the turnout and all the things that we were able to put out there for the fans.
Josh, I feel like we got cheated, though, in terms of history. It had been a quarter of a century since somebody went wire to wire and led every lap, and I thought William Byron was going to pull off that feat. Just from a race fan's perspective, were you disappointed he did not go from green flag to checkered flag with the lead?
Well, I mean, it would have been, I think, kind of an interesting part of, us celebrating Darlington's 75th anniversary, and you could have had something that never happened before if he would have been able to hold on to that. So from that standpoint, I think it would have been a neat storyline. I know the fans want to see more passing, especially passing for the lead, than maybe we got on Sunday, but I was watching William in that race as I made my way around in different areas and watched on the screens, and he was running up against the wall, in both turns, which you don't always see. So I think that team found something, whether it was in the simulator or just in their preparation for the weekend. Practice, they were fast. They qualifying, they sat on the pole and did it by a pretty easy margin compared to the other guys. So I think they found something, and a lot of times in racing, when that happens, you kind of just tip your cap and appreciate it. But unfortunately, they weren't able to close the deal, and Denny Hamlin kind of snuck in there at the end and capitalized.
Josh Harris, president of Darlington Raceway, with us for his Tuesday visit, recapping the Goodyear 400. All right, Josh, help me understand NASCAR's logic here. You have a driver who crashes in lap 3, is 200 miles behind the leaders, and for some reason he's able to get back out on the track. And I speak of Kyle Larson. Why does NASCAR allow that to happen? And considering the way the race finished, I mean, Kyle Larson played a major factor in Ryan Blaney not winning and certainly handing the race to Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, this is the first year where we've, as a sport, they've changed the damaged vehicle policy rules. And if you think back over the history of the sport, there were times where I remember a race where Mark Martin came out there after being in a crash, and they had reattached sheet metal, had taped a number on the side of a car. He didn't have anything on the front but the radiator. So, we've ebbed and flowed over the years through this, and more recently, the policy has been you had very limited time to fix things, on pit road or in the garage. And this year they've opened that up and have allowed the teams one opportunity to go in the garage. They can have as much time as they want to repair their car. And honestly, this was a policy change that was very much, not say driven by fan feedback, but a lot of fans were not happy that their favorite driver, maybe in a minor accident or even one where they could get their car fixed if they just had a little more time, could not get back out there. So I think the team did, they spent, they were 160 laps down, which makes you think, well, why are they even trying? But they were able to get back out there, maybe learn something for the next time they come. Obviously, they had a throwback scheme, had partners there. They owe it to them to try to do everything they can to get back out on the track. And he was running well above the minimum speed when he came back out. So I think it was just, that could have been any car behind Tyler Reddick, who ran up and hit the wall ahead of Larson, which caused him to brake, and then Bubba Wallace didn't know that it happened and ran into the back of him. So I don't fault Kyle. I don't fault them. It's a racing incident. He didn't do anything wrong. He had every right to be out there, in my opinion. And it's just it's kind of one of those racing deals.
And I'm glad you mentioned the throwback weekend, because I wanted to get your comments. You were talking about how excited you were about the crowd and the energy there, and that's great, especially for the spring, because we know it's going to be there Labor Day weekend. Were you concerned, disappointed with regards to the comments that Chase Elliott had over the weekend about throwback weekend having lost its luster about 4 or 5 years ago? And if so, is that concerning because it's coming from the most popular driver in the sport?
Well, I think Chase has got every right to have his opinion. And honestly, I spent time with Chase on Friday. He was here ahead of the weekend. We spent about, good 4 or 5 hours together on Friday. We did a little thing at the Darlington Country Club. We went to the Boys and Girls Club over in Florence. And we had great conversations through that. And I really think sometimes, Chase he'll just say what he thinks. And, in an ideal world, would our sport's most popular driver be praising throwback weekend and all the things it is? Yeah, I'd love for that. But I'm not upset with him. Again, he's entitled to his opinion. I think this was obviously a big topic of conversation around the weekend because you had fewer Cup Series teams participating with the paint schemes. But really what I think came out of this and really where our team is going to put a lot of focus over the next year is, we're doing a lot of things around throwback weekend that are not tied to a paint scheme. And I think we've just got to amplify those efforts more and make them more known. And, if teams want to run throwback schemes, they can, but let's not make throwback weekend all about just the throwback paint schemes when we have so many other wonderful aspects when you think about the former drivers that are there, the stories that we're telling, and telling the story of Darlington Raceway this year. So I don't see Throwback Weekend going away. I think we will evolve it and continue to make sure that we're doing the right thing to honor history. And hopefully as these guys see those things, it helps maybe take a little bit of the pressure off of them to always have a throwback scheme.
Well, you won't say it. Bergie won't say it. I'll say it. Chase, just shut up.
I don't have a problem telling Chase Elliott to shut up.
Shut up. I mean, my God, you're asked to come, twice a year to Darlington. You got one time to do the throwback weekend, which I think is a fabulous idea and a great way to honor the sport at the legendary track. Just shut up. Now, he'll probably punch me in the face. So is it too soon to start selling tickets for Labor Day?
No, tickets have been available for Labor Day, really, since going back to last fall. But no, tickets are available. We're excited. We get a little bit longer planning time period between now and that weekend compared to years past.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. But tickets are available. DarlingtonRaceway.com. It's going to be a great doubleheader weekend to open the playoffs for both the Cup Series and the Truck Series, which is exciting. The first time we've had both series opening their playoffs for that weekend. So looking forward to it. But yeah, can't wait to have a big crowd going for our 5th consecutive sellout for that race.
Fantastic. Last thing, I'm always interested after the race weekend, how much black was there on the white wall?
You come on out. There's not a whole lot of white showing in some areas. So we'll leave that up as kind of a badge of honor as we get ready for the next one, and we'll start painting those walls about a week ahead of Labor Day.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next week. Going to Bristol this weekend,
Josh.
so we'll have a lot to talk about next week.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Josh. Josh Harris, President.
Interesting
D-Town.
comments, Phil. I'm wondering if the paint scheme side of the coin, because we only had about half the field participating in that. I'm wondering if what Josh was saying, if maybe the paint schemes might go away, but some of the history of the NASCAR, around the track and everything else that he's talking about will still be a major part of Throwback Weekend.
Yeah, but I think the paint scheme's the beautiful part about it. And what's the problem? I mean, you paint your car every week, yeah.
Calling all turkey hunters, this is Major Billy Downer with the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Turkey season is coming soon. The most common accident while turkey hunting is failing to identify your target. Know the identifying features of a turkey. Make sure of your target and what lies beyond it before you pull the trigger. Remember, safe hunting is no accident. For more information on hunter education, visit dnr.sc.gov.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. I'm not a case manager. I'm a lawyer for over 35 years. I don't charge 40% for your injury in your wreck case or any on-the-job injury. Call 803-765-2968 and ask for Jim Corbett, or email me, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com, for the experience of a lawyer handling your injury case. Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968. jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. Put 35 years of experience to work on your injury case.
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. In fact, the lottery has raised more than $200 million for state school buses to get our students to school safely every day. Then, the lottery helps those students go even further in their education by funding the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. So remember, when you play the lottery, you're keeping South Carolina students on the road to success. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
George Bryan here with Tsunami Bar Sports and some great spring golf news. If you're ready to mash your tater, I think you need a Laginator. And if you want to get more speed and crack the whip, it's time for a mini stick. So TsunamiBarSports.com, GB10 to get 10% off the Laginator and the mini stick. That's TsunamiBarSports.com, GB10 for 10% off.
Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosseller Brown. Did you know Lawyer Lisa offers a prevention plan add-on to our services? If you already have a trust or just need some updates, ask about getting your ducks in a row and getting all of your wishes set out before it's needed. Visit lawyerlisa.com for more information.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina. The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawells Catering.
All right, time to dive into recruiting, brought to you by Seawells. Let Seawells dive into your special event that you have coming up later this year, because they can dive in and come up with a great game plan for you and then execute it like the Green Bay Packers. You want execution like the Boston Celtics? You want the hit and run executed like the New York Yankees? Then you want the champions of catering, Seawells. They're like Secretariat. They leave everybody in the dust. That's Seawells at SeawellsCateringSC.com. Online that is online, and the phone number is 803-77. When's the last time I made it through a show without a goof? 803-771-7385. Probably about 8 years ago.
I just appreciated all the similes you were throwing out with sports. That was pretty impressive.
Well, it was my teams. And, of course, the daily luncheon buffet. What do we got, Plumber?
You want the whole menu for the whole week?
No, just give me tomorrow.
Southern fried chicken, hamburger, steak and onions, and fried pork chops, and shrimp Alfredo.
Oh, throw in a little shrimp Alfredo made by Alfred himself. Right there. They have a cook named Alfred. So that's from 11 till 2, and it's only $14. So check it out tomorrow if you're hungry around lunchtime, and who isn't. Okay, to recruiting. First in football, cornerback Peyton Dyer of Duluth, Georgia, who committed to South Carolina November 4th, announced a decommitment this afternoon. No surprise, because he'd been taking a lot of visits. He'd never really shut it down. Went to Southern Cal over the weekend. Been to Georgia several times. Been to Ohio State. Has officials scheduled with Southern Cal, Georgia, and South Carolina. We'll see if he follows through on that. He was the 6th commitment for the class. He is the 3rd decommitment for the 26 class. Tight end Tilden Riley of Orangeburg Prep, 6'5", 205, was offered by South Carolina last night after he visited on Saturday. He is a terrific athlete, plays baseball and basketball as well. He got a chance to watch the scrimmage, said that visit was awesome to be able to watch the spring practice. He talked to Shane Beamer and Sean Elliott a good bit. They've been on him for a while, and now they have taken the next step with him, making the offer. He also has offers from West Virginia, Pittsburgh, Virginia Tech, Duke, USF, FAU, Liberty, East Carolina, and Appalachian State. This spring, he's been to Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, West Virginia, Duke, and Vanderbilt. And he's got officials to Virginia Tech May 30th, West Virginia June 6th, Vanderbilt June 13th, and FAU June 20th. Got to believe that South Carolina is going to get worked in there as well at some point. He caught 49 passes for 903 yards and 13 touchdowns last season. He also plays safety. He had 4 interceptions, returning 2 for touchdowns. Offensive tackle Leo Delaney of Charlotte was at Clemson recently, and the Tigers are hot after him, and he's very interested in the Tigers. He's been hearing from a lot of their committed players as well. Of course, the Tiger coaches are on him quite a bit. Matt Luke recruiting him very hard. And he was at the Elite Retreat, and he felt like that was an excellent weekend for him in visiting with Matt Luke and visiting with the players. This past weekend, he went to Michigan, so he continues to take trips. However, Clemson is very strong with him at this particular time. He does plan another trip to Clemson prior to the official visits, if he can get that in. He hopes to commit in July after his officials, which include Clemson, Tennessee, and Michigan. Those are the ones he has scheduled thus far. Defensive tackle P.J. Dean, 6'5", 255 of Clemens, North Carolina, named a final 3, South Carolina, Georgia, Ohio State. Defensive end Rodney Dunham of Charlotte will announce on Thursday South Carolina, Duke, Georgia, Notre Dame, and Tennessee the finalists. Northwestern safety Tamarian Watkins is going to go to Georgia again on Saturday. 2027 defensive back Joshua Dobson, Catawba Ridge, was offered today by Alabama. Basketball. This is kind of a shocker to me. Former Clemson guard Dell Jones is going to transfer to Radford. I mean, nothing against Radford in the Big South, but come on. What do you think the deal is there? He's better than that.
I don't know. Maybe without any football at Radford, they've got plenty of spending money on the men's basketball side.
I guess maybe he's thinking, big fish in a small pond.
Mm-hmm. Very possible.
But wait till he goes and plays, I don't know, name a hot spot in the Big South.
Well, you've got lovely little havens like Clinton, Radford.
How about Longwood? How about that traditional rival Longwood? When Radford and nothing says basketball like Radford and even Jeff Goodman can't make Radford versus Longwood sound interesting.
I'll give Josh $5 if he can tell me Radford's nickname.
Josh, do you need
Without
$5?
looking it up.
Do you need $5? Come on.
I have no clue.
Think about
the Highlanders.
Oh, see, now I was going to give him a couple of hints, and you just jumped right in with the answer.
Yeah, that's my money. I wasn't going to give him any.
Oh,
I was going to say like Terriers or something, but
no, that's Wofford and Boston University.
Yeah,
BU. And 2 days after losing to UConn, South Carolina got a little bit of emotional lift today with the news that Raven Johnson's going to return for another season, and that 5'8" Tanaya Latson, the nation's leading scorer this season, will transfer from Florida State. And let's talk more about Latson, because that's really a big story for South Carolina. She averaged 25 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists per game this season. She shot 45% from the floor. For 3 seasons with the Seminoles, she averaged over 22 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, made 45% of her field goal attempts, 33% of her three-point attempts, and 84% from the line. Also, 6'5" center Sakima Walker announced she's transferring from South Carolina. There you go with the recruiting report tonight here on Sports Talk. Okay, you want to squeeze in one more call? Who we got? Let me see here. Who do we have?
Nobody.
Oh, it was right there. And now they're gone.
I've got something that would qualify as a Toman tidbit.
Do it.
You'll love this. Yeshiva University and Lehman College, not sure what level, baseball teams. They played a doubleheader today. Lehman College snapped a 42-game losing streak, and Yeshiva University snapped a 100-game losing streak today because they each beat each other in back-to-back games.
So they split the doubleheader.
They split the doubleheader.
And they ended their respective losing streaks. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. Coastal,
Yeshiva's last win was in 2022. Good grief.
Well, you know what? Passover's coming up, so they were able to not get passed over this time and get a W.
And I hope I got their names right.
Yeah, it is right. Yeshiva. That is correct. I happen to know that personally.
Yeah, impressed.
Well, as a graduate of Yeshiva.
And master's at Lehman College.
And Harvard,
In
right?
between my stops
And
at Harvard.
He got his doctorate at Harvard.
All right, Coastal Carolina, bottom of the 6, is leading Wilmington 5-3. South Carolina 6-2 over Upstate in the top of the 5th. And we have Auburn leading Georgia Tech 5-1. Charleston over Charleston Southern 5-3. And Florida leading Florida State. Does Florida lose in anything? Well, they do in baseball. They're only 20-14. But they're leading Florida State 2-1. That will do it. Been a heck of a show. Appreciate you being with us. Have a great night. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Plummer.
Yes, sir.
And we'll see you tomorrow.